Okay, there's no need to hold this angle. It's way too early into the round. There is no operator that can scale up to where you're looking right here that quickly. And even if they did, I would argue that they're probably sending 5 other people down this path. So really, there's no need for you to be holding this angle this early. And then likewise, look what's happening over on A. So not paying attention to the mini map here. You've got your breach getting a pick here. He tucks away, gets kind of stuck in this corner. You should be smoking for him right now, right? So you see he dies. So you should have been smoking for him. Basically, you should have had your smoke ready for him right here. As soon as he gets that pick, that smoke should be going down to let him live and get out. So that now your breach can kind of scale back into A main or stairs here, or even onto site with some sort of smoke right here to give him that space and that flexibility. That, or you need to be playing breakable with him or coming breakable as soon as you see him taking those engagements and breaking this for him so that you can then hold this cross right there. Yeah, so right now, that's the thing. We're just kind of sitting here watching B main, and it's not really doing anything for you or the team, right? Now he gets picked off. You do come to support now. Not a bad flash. The jet just goes down before you can peek it. Okay, not bad round anyway. You guys still end up winning, which is good, but still a lot of supporting utility that could be thrown out as a controller for you to be able to kind of support your team in a better way. Okay, so you have like an affinity for B. I don't think B is bad. I think Omen is better suited in breakable though, right here. I don't think that it makes much sense for you to be holding top of B here. Yeah, because you see there's a lot of utility that gets dumped into A every single round. So good smoke. Okay. I like that. That's a great flash. It's a good little spot to be on. Not very common for people to play.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Okay, good round. That's a good round by you. I want to highlight specifically what you did here. So you anticipated the fact that with Raze getting her ult, she's probably going to scale up into A. And you're trying to block that from happening, right? You're trying to stop her from getting any intel before she can throw her rocket out. So I do like that you're anticipating that. I want you to take note of how much better this smoke, or this flash rather, would be coming from right here. So if you flash this way versus where you're flashing now, you are almost certainly going to catch that Raze. So let's, for example, pretend that this Raze is just before the smoke that you throw, right? Like this is where she's launching out of. It's very possible that you miss her in this window. Or maybe, for example, if she comes out of here and she jumps and kind of scales into back A, you're going to miss her at her descent as well, right? So if you're flashing out of here, you're getting all of the same A main presence here, but you're also making sure that you get any sort of push into back of A and most of this left side of the box here that you plant in. But generally speaking, I wouldn't say that playing here or here with your flash is going to be like a humongous difference in the world of gold. But it will make it easier not just to smoke, but to flash in either this direction or this direction. But still really good anticipation by you, I think, to read the fact that Raze has her ult. Of course, she does say the line, so it's kind of easy to read that. But as soon as she popped that, you thought, I need to help my team. And that's good. As a controller main, that's your job, is support your team with as much supporting utility as you possibly can. So good job. Okay, again with that angle.
Shadows traveling.
Just not necessary to always hold this, especially not this early into the round.
You should run.
Cover going.
It's a good smoke. Both of those smokes were good and fine. Okay, that's great. So you know what I was talking about earlier, where on the pistol round, the first round, your first few shots were wrong and then you instantly aimed for the body. Here, you were more patient, right? So you took those first few shots, completely whiffed them on the first one, which is fine. So these first few shots were missed. She was jumping, that's okay. But you did take the time to be patient and try your best to aim for her head. Okay, I'm liking what we're doing here. We're switching it up, we're changing. I would rather have gun out here. Your knife at this... Yeah, there you go. Yep. Your knife at this rank isn't going to give you that much advantage in the jiggle peek. I do like the more aggressive peeking though, right? So where you're playing right now is perfect. So you have... So let me just kind of break this down. You have all of this space, right? You're looking on your minimap. You're seeing one person's over in Breakable and two people are over here in Rubble. You can very confidently start making your way in this direction or start opening this door and start relaying to your team, hey, nobody's here, right? You know nobody's on C, and that's a huge piece of intel for you and your team. To be able to relay that to them is important. So I would love to see some sort of comm from you saying all of C is clear, it has to be A or B.
One more B, Cypher.
I love that. That's great. That's a great comm. Good job.
Oh no.
Good patience.
Yeah, blood.
Well done. That's okay. You lost the fight, but the mechanics were not bad, right? You weren't crouching and spraying. You were trying to aim for the head, and you just missed your shots. That's fine. You're not going to win every single duel, but it's good that you did that.
20 good.
All right. So you're back to holding this B angle that you're very, very much obsessed with. I don't think you need to hold that every single round. Again, switch it up. Where you held on C was a really good angle. Okay, not a bad ult for intel. I don't hate it.
At least 4.
Okay, super unfortunate. Let me explain why the angle you're holding here is bad after the 10th time of saying it. So C is your strong side. This is the side that's easiest to defend without any sort of utility, because there's only one direction that the enemy can come from. It's right here in Mound. B is also technically a strong side, and I'll explain how it can change from strong side to weak side in a second. But right now, there's only one direction that they can come from. A is your weak side. There are two directions that the enemy can take to get onto A, either tree or through main. Now, this little box right here, the box I've been telling you to play out of, if you lose sight or if you lose control of this area, B now becomes a weak side, because there's two potential directions for them to come out of and flood into sight, and that puts you at a huge disadvantage. So why I've been telling you to play in here is because you can still do all that you need to do to look at B from here. There's no, you're not going to really do much different from being able to see somebody a couple of feet back over here. You can still do all of that, but you can also make sure that the enemy has to come through you and your blind and your smoke before they can get control of B. And that keeps B as a strong side on the map for you and the team, and makes it so that it's more difficult for Jet to do exactly what she just did, which is break this door, have free access to this whole room, and then scale anywhere in here that she wants, because you're holding a super passive angle from here to here. With Omen, this is a much more productive angle for you to hold, because you're still waiting for them to come here, and it's still going to take them almost the same amount of time, but you're still able to come here, break rubble, and play with your team out here. You can smoke around your team if you need to. This is not the greatest smoke in the world, but you can play however you want here and give your team the best chance at keeping control of B, because this right here, this area, is one of the most important areas in the map. If you die here, or if you don't have control of this, think about it from an attacker's perspective. They don't like the fight on A. All right, I'm just going to clear this little room, and now I can go between B, I can go back to A, I can go from B, creep up into there. There's so much opportunity for them by taking control of this tiny little area of the map that you playing as Omen here is much better. And that's also true of this, right? So something that happened to you on the attacking side, while you all were attacking A main, you saw a flash from Omen coming in this direction. That flash is coming directly from Rubble, right? So right here, you blind that. That blinds all of A main, and now they are stuck there for quite a lot longer, and that gives your team an ability to scale up and hold control of A main. And holding control of A main is huge. This is like there's a reason people fight for this area, and it's because A site in general is a weak site, so it's difficult to hold. So realistically, this is a much better area and scenario for you and your team. There were a couple of instances that I noticed where you had like your breach and your raise coming up A main and scaling. And then at one point your breach got a kill and had to kind of tuck back here, and he ended up dying. Again, if you were playing breakable here instead of heaven, you're in a much better position to help your team out if they come here. So one, you can flash here, let him get away if you really wanted to, right? I wouldn't recommend that. Or sorry, smoke here. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend just peeking it and maybe potentially doing some sort of like one way on Rubble back here. So this is what that looks like, right? So it's very difficult for them to peek Rubble now. And now you as Omen can focus on just helping your breach get out of wherever he needs to get to, or he can just come straight back to here because they can't peek out of Rubble. So yeah, just generally speaking, as Omen, this is a much better place for you to be holding because it gives you the most flexibility to hold both A and B.
Enemy spotted A.
Shadows traveling. On my wire. Blinding.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. There's a lot that can be talked about here. Let me explain just one very brief thing that you did wrong. I see the idea. The vision is I've just blinded all of these people. So if I can somehow get over here, I can maybe get a pick on the raise or maybe get a pick over here on somebody in tree. I see the vision. I don't think the idea in general is a bad one, right? If you flash them, then you have an advantage here. However, you have to always constantly remember what utility is being used on a site to get them on there. So the enemy just used the raise ult. They are mad confident right now, right? They just killed one of your players and they just took control of the front half of site with their raise. They are going to be right here in that smoke. They're going to be pushing out instantly, like almost immediately, because this raise needs the help, all the help that she can get. Think about this from the raise's perspective. The raise behind this wall right here is probably yelling at all of the people in tree saying, guys, I need help instantly. Like, get out here right now because I'm about to die. So of course there's going to be somebody sitting in this smoke because at the end of the day, they're trying to come out to help this raise that's crying for her life, right? So I like the flash, not a bad flash. What I don't like is the action you took after the flash, which is trying to TP into the smoke. It seems like you got a little too aggressive there when really that flash, all you have to do with that flash is just sit back where you're at. There's no need to continue pushing it. You're pushing into a war zone at this point because all of this has already been basically taken. So
Have some fun.
okay, good job. That's a good TP as well. I like being patient here.
Cover going out.
Raise there.
B, brother.
Nice.
One enemy
That's
remaining.
good. That's good.
Reloading.
Go away, go away, go away.
I like what your breach did there. That's a great position to plant. You have full control. I would prefer a slightly different smoke here. So I don't know if you knew it or not, but this box right here is a perfect opportunity for a one-way. It covers basically like all of this. So when they come out, you get the first sight. They have to peek all the way to this corner for them to be able to see you. And even then, it's a hard fight for them to see. They can only really see kind of in this general direction. They can't see any of this. So the further you tuck into this area, the more you can see. But yeah, again, I would rather one way this area because he's not visible on this spot from heaven. So really all you have to focus on is here since you have full control of the site and you just cleared backside. Okay,
Spike
let's
down.
pause there, rewind for a second. All right, this is a perfect frame because Uranus in the process of getting poo-pooed on. I get the idea, right? Like I understand the idea of wanting to come out here so that you can trade your Reyna from that jet that just killed your Reyna, right? I totally get that. However, you need to, again, this idea of understanding where your enemy is and what they're doing. You know that there's a Roomba coming out here. So presumably there's a Raze somewhere over here that we haven't seen yet behind this cage. You know that Jet is up here, right? You see it on the minimap. So you peeking out here is going to inevitably get you in a disadvantaged fight, especially considering the fact that you haven't thrown any utility to try and dissuade one of these two from peeking, right? So realistically, what you should be doing here is either telling your breach to flash through this wall so that backs this jet up a little bit, or you need to be throwing a flash in this direction to stop whoever's over here from peeking, or in this direction to stop whoever's over here from peeking. You need to single your fights out, right? You can't peek this direction without any utility and expect anything other than what happened, which was you getting peeked by two people. Right. So if you had just flashed in any one of those directions, one of those people are not going to peek you.
Shadows traveling.
Okay, your smokes are a little too early here, right? So notice where you guys are at. So let me take a step back. So you're smoking waterfall and backside. That's totally fine. Look at where you all are at. By the time you guys scale up into C main, this smoke probably has maybe 7 seconds left, maybe 8 if you're lucky. And then this one probably has maybe what, 10 seconds? And how long does it take to get the spike down? I think it's like 7 seconds, something like that. I can't remember. But what you're doing is smoking too early before you guys are ready to actually hit onto site. I would really love if when you do scale up here, smoke when you're closer to the actual like entrance and make sure that you calm that. Tell them like, hey, I'm going to wait to smoke until we're ready to push in, right?
Shadows traveling.
Bomb buddy out.
Cover going out.
Grenade!
Yeah, you see, you guys haven't even pushed in yet, right? So these smokes, they're gone before you can even get a chance to go on site. Now you have no smokes. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to be proactive, which is not a bad thing, but those smokes are already gone now, see? And now you have to wait another 5 seconds just for one smoke, and then another, I think, 15 or 30 seconds for your second smoke. Yeah, you've still got to wait another 30 seconds now for that second smoke. Puts you at a disadvantage. Okay, I love what you just did. That's a good idea. You saw all of that utility flooding into A main and you said, nah, I'm gonna die if I go out there, so I'm just waiting. That's a good job by you. Good patience. Good discipline.
See, good Jay.
Shadows traveling.
Okay, so let's talk about that smoke. I saw you do it last round as well. So this smoke is not gonna do too much, right? Let's think about this from the defender's perspective for a second. You saw a KO knife come out of A main. You saw an Omen flash come out of A main. So specifically, at least 2 people are there, right? At the very least. And they very clearly have control of rubble and of breakable. What is this smoke going to do? I think I get what the point of the smoke is, which is to kind of let them know that, hey, maybe we're pushing into A. But they know you're not, right? Like, for all you know, the Omen and the KO are all back here and over here, and they're constantly peeking this area. And they know for a fact that nobody's here. It's completely clear. So if you, it's not that I have a problem with smokes like this, where you're trying to kind of hint that you might be pushing in a certain direction. But I would much rather see this over on B, where maybe they haven't crept up yet, right? You see your Reyna kind of holding this whole angle. That could be just because she's AFK or something. I'm not sure. But either way, use that intel. I would rather see something like this smoke over on B, just to give them the threat that, hey, we could be coming B, because they very clearly have control of this whole area. So they know you're not coming this direction. So this was just a wasted smoke. Okay, that's absolutely insane. So let me see if I can find the specific frame. All right. What are they doing here? So there's a jet smoke, there's a raise nade, there's a KO knife, and then there's an Omen blind. This Omen blind is most definitely coming from Breakable. So you see what I'm saying here, how it gives you more flexibility to kind of control and play on the map. This is a great example of that. He's completely stopping you guys in your tracks. There's nothing you can do here to push out. I want to bring attention to how much crap you see on the screen now. This is when you, as an Omen, should instantly say, there are 4 here, let's leave and go see. Just an instant rotate right off the bat. There's at minimum, you have a KO, a jet, and a raise. And at most, you have an Omen attached to that here in Breakable as well. There is zero reason to even bother pushing this site. It just, this side is chalked. It's the strong side. So what does that mean? That means that either B or C is completely free. You know that Omen's probably breakable, right? Because he just flashed from there. So B may not be free. So what they're probably playing is a B with Omen and a C with KJ. You want to try your best to isolate one of those sites, because there's only one on those sites. If you 5-man rotate right now into C, zero shot you don't take it. I would bet my life, if you guys instantly called the rotate and went to C, that you're winning that entire engagement and getting C for free, basically. Yeah, but you see, instead you all freeze. So you freeze for a second, you let them not just take control of A, but reset across the map. So they now know they have control of this because you haven't pushed out. So I bet money that one of them is starting to actively either rotate to C or rotate into B. You're taking too long early round to make those quick adjustments with your team.
Shadows traveling. You are powerless.
See? Look who's there. Okay, so I want to call out how simple that was, right? So you have 2 people here. You have your breach, you have you. You still took control of C from KJ. So remember earlier how I was saying when you saw 4 people on A here with the KO knife, the raise nade, the jet smoke, and then the Omen flash, and then how you all rotated from A main into B, and then you saw KO and Omen. They instantly rotated because they took control of A main here and A rubble. What you guys should have done, and what I want you to take away from this, is as Omen, you are in a special position, not just with your ult here, but with the fact that you have Spike, to tell them, I saw 4 pieces of utility coming out of A main. Can we please go see? I've done that in my games so frequently, and it works every time. Every single time. If I see 3 or 4 pieces of utility all being dumped into rubble here, just instantly rotate to C, because the only way that you're going to lose C is if they threw all of that utility and then all just dipped and came out to C, which is not going to happen, right? That's never going to happen. They're going to keep control of that with at least 1 person or 2 people. One of them's probably going to rotate into B to help the Omen that was there, and that's exactly what happened. You had KO and you had Omen here, and then there's just 1 person on C. So this is just a good example of trying to be more decisive with your decision making in terms of the utility or intel that you're getting, rather, from your enemy team.